welcome back.
Hey guys, welcome back. So for today's video, I wanted to do a little something fun and different. For today's video, I am doing my 12-year-old sister's makeup for the first time. She never wears makeup, so she was really excited for this. The first thing that I'm doing is filling in her eyebrows, and I am using this BrowGal's Trio eyebrow palette. I am using the darkest shade, and this palette is the number 2 for brown hair. And I am also using the BrowGal's eyebrow brush to fill them in. As you can tell, I am brushing out her hair with the other end, the spoolie, just so I can spread out the product evenly and there won't be any missing patches or just some spots that are darker than the others. I am also using powder just to make them look a little more real. The next thing that I am doing is I am going to set her eyebrows, and I am just using this Maybelline eyebrow gel, and I am using it in the color dark brown, and I am just going to set her eyebrows in place. The next thing I'm going to do is try to shape her eyebrows a little more since she does have thick brows. I'm just going to try and make them equal and fix any little lines that I went over with my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the color Light Sand. And I am just taking a flat little brush to shape them. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply the concealer with the little tip, and I'm just going to apply it on her eyes, and then I am going to take the brush and drag it under her eyebrow to shape the brow. It's kind of hard to explain it. I'm not really that great at explaining, but I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. So right here I am just spreading out the concealer with the brush to spread it out evenly. And then the next thing I'm going to do so I can blend it out a little more is grabbing my L'Oreal Little Beauty Blender. It is damp, and I am just taking the smaller edge of that to tap out that concealer. I am next going to grab this Carli Bybel's BHcosmetics palette. This is the first palette that she created. And I am just going to take the lightest shade, and I am just using a flat top brush, and I'm just going to pat that on top of that concealer just to set it in place and so the colors can be a little more vibrant. I am now going to take my Morphe palette, and it is the 350. Here I am trying to show you the number, but it didn't want to focus. And I am just going to take these two orangey shades and mix them together for the crease color with this fluffy blending brush. I am just going to tap off any excess powder that the brush got, and I am going to start applying that onto her eyelid into the crease and blending it out. You can apply as much shadow as you would like to get the desired color. I am just applying a little bit just so I can give her a soft look since she is kind of young, and that is how it looks like. I am just going to go back to my Carli Bybel palette, and I am going to be using this kind of a darker brown color with this brush. It's an e.l.f. brush, I believe, or a Wet n Wild brush. Just so I can deepen that crease up. I am just going to blend it in, and I will be doing the same to the other eye. Then I am going back to my little blending fluffy brush, and I am just going to blend those two colors out so there won't be any harsh edges. I am going back with my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in Light Sand, and I am just going to use this little liner brush. It is a BHcosmetics brush, and I am going to attempt to do a half cut crease on her eyes. She does have a kind of hooded eyes, so she doesn't really have a crease, And I learned this trick from Nicole Guerrero, so I tried it on her since she doesn't really have a crease. What she does is she just looks up. I just apply a little bit of concealer on the lash line and she'll just look up, and wherever that concealer marks, that is where the crease is going to start. And then I am just gonna fill in the rest of her eye and follow that line. I hope I am making sense. If not, I hope the video at least is helpful so you guys can see what I'm trying to explain. Going back to my Morphe palette, I am going to be taking a flat shader brush from BHcosmetics, and I am going to use this shimmery kind of rose gold pinkish shade. I am using it dry, and I am just going to pat that on to her lid while the concealer is a little tacky, just so that color can stick on a little better. To add a little more oomph, I am taking this pink highlighter shade in the Carli Bybel palette, and I am just gonna pat that on top of that color from the Morphe palette. I added this pink shade just to add a little more color and shimmer to her eye. Now I am going to grab these two mauve colors from the Carli Bybel palette, and I'm just using a smaller blending brush. And I am just going to add those colors on to the corner of her eye, or the outer corner of her eye, to deepen her eye look up. Here I switched brushes just because the other one wasn't adding as much color as I would like, since it was a little more kind of sparse. This one is a little more dense, so it did grab more color. Here I am just doing the same to both eyes and adding as much color as what I want. Here, just so that crease is a little more defined, I am going back with that little shader brush that I did her cut crease with, and I am just going over the line to define it. And then I am just going to go back with my little shader brush that I applied the shimmery colors with, and just adding a little bit more on. Now I am just going to grab a wipe. You can use anything you want. I'm just going to use a baby wipe to clean up her under eye from any fallout. After that, I am going to be applying some lashes. I am just using these lashes. They're just some random ones that I found in my drawer. And don't you just love her faces that she does? Here I am just applying the lashes, and I am using a dark glue, a black glue or dark, whichever. I did kind of mess up a little here. I kind of dragged the glue up, so you can see that it is uneven, but her lashes stuck on good and they weren't falling off. And then I just grabbed my little eyelash tool to take the glue off that I got on her lid. Then I am just going to apply some mascara, and this is just the Rimmel London Volume Colorist mascara with lash tint, and it is just in the color black, and I am just doing that to help blend her lashes with the fake lashes. Now moving on to her face, I am taking this Maybelline's Baby Skin primer, since she is a baby, and we are just adding that on to her T-zone and just rubbing it in. The next thing that we are going to do is apply foundation. I am using this Sonia Kashuk foundation. It is the darkest one I have. Since she doesn't have a foundation, since she doesn't wear makeup, I had to add in a darker color, and I don't have a darker color, so I found this LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Toast, and I just added that on as well to make it a little darker. And then I am just taking the Beauty Blender, the L'Oreal Beauty Blender, and blending out her foundation. Here she is laughing because it looked really orange on camera, and it kind of does look orange here. So once we blended it all out, we decided to add more of that Sonia Kashuk foundation to lighten it up and hopefully not make her look so orange. And we are just going to blend with our L'Oreal sponge. Now to conceal her face, not like she needs it, I am taking this LA Girl Pro Conceal in pure beige, and we are just gonna add those on under her eyes, on her nose, forehead, chin, just to brighten her face up a little bit. After I applied it, I noticed that it was a little too dark and it almost blended in with the foundation. So I went in with my Tarte Shape Tape and added a little bit of that on top. And then I just took my L'Oreal blender and used the top smaller edge and started blending that concealer in. With the side of the sponge that I applied the foundation with, I am just going on the edge of where that concealer is so it can blend in with the foundation, just so there won't be any harsh edges. I hope you understand what I mean. If not, you can just see it here on the video. Taking this Flower Beauty Setting Powder in the shade L01 and this Real Techniques sponge, we are going to bake her face. We are going to apply that all in the places where we applied concealer, and we are just gonna set it in place. After I baked her under eye, I am going back with the Carli Bybel palette and using the two mauve shades that we used for the outer corner. I am going to be applying these under her under eye, and we are going to just drag it a little bit up to her corner again, just to darken it up a little bit. It will look a little messy, but I am going to apply some more of that Flower Beauty setting powder just to clean that up under there. Then we are going to curl her lashes, so we can blend her fake ones with her real ones with just this curling eyelash curler. And then we are going to apply mascara, the same mascara that we used for the top ones, to her bottom lashes. Here is where I am adding some more of that Flower Beauty setting powder just to clean up that under eye, since it is looking a little like she got punched in the face. So that's what she's laughing at. So yeah, we are just cleaning it up a little bit. Now we are going to start contouring or bronzing her face up, and I am just going to use the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette Contour in the shade Dulce de Leche, and just this brush, angled brush that I got in a BoxyCharm, I believe. And we are just going to apply the contour shade onto her cheekbones, and I'm just telling her to do a little fishy face just so I can see where they are. And on her forehead, she does have a small forehead, so she really didn't need much of a contour. Now the nose contour was a little hard. She does have kind of like a chunky nose. I don't know how to explain it. So I'm just taking this little eye brush, and we are gonna try and contour her nose. I really had a hard time contouring her nose because I didn't want to make it look so dark. But I still wanted to make it look a little thinner than what it is. So that is what I'm going to try to do here. Aw, how beautiful does she look? I love the faces that she does. She always does faces like this. So now I am just taking a stippling brush, and I am just brushing away that bake that we did, and also softening up that contour just so it won't look so harsh. Now I am going to apply blush, and I am taking this BH Cosmetics blush kit, and as soon as I opened it I realized one of my blushes was broken, so it just fell all over the place. That's what she's looking at there. Here is the color that I chose. It's a pinky peachy blush, and that's just the one that I applied on her. And then in the end you will see that I just mixed a bunch of the blushes and added that on to her cheeks as well, just because that one that I used first wasn't showing up as much. Now to help contour a little more, we are going to bake under that contouring bronzing that we did, just so the cheekbones will stand out a little more. Now we are taking this Master Chrome highlighter from Maybelline and this e.l.f. blush brush, I believe, and we are going to apply that to the high points of her cheeks, and we are also going to drag that up the side of her face onto her forehead, pretty much everywhere that you normally highlight when your face hits the sun, and the chin, the nose, the top lip, and the point of her nose, just to try and make her nose look a little smaller. Then from there we are going back to the Carli Bybel palette, and we are using a little shader brush, and I'm gonna use that pink highlighter shade, and that is what I am going to use for her inner corner highlight. And here we are just applying that on both of her eyes. Now for her lips, we are using this Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Matte Lipstick in the color Rebel Rose. And she is applying it by herself. She tried to make it focus, but she couldn't get it to focus. And here she's just applying it. Then after she turned and looked at me, I noticed that she just adds it and doesn't add lipstick all the way to the edge of her lips. So here I am just fixing it up. Then we are just going to brush that bake away again. Now the final step is we are going to apply some setting spray, and I am just using this Cover FX illuminating spray. So yeah guys, this concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos.